What do you like about this country?
I love everything.
What I really like is the bike culture.
I feel part of this expat community, so it makes me feel almost at home.
Many people perceive directness as being mean, which is not true, I think. It's just being straightforward.
I'm able to freely speak about anything.
Back in Ukraine, is it strange for people to just smile at you?
Probably, I would say yes.
Hey, it's David, and welcome back to my channel. The Netherlands, one of the happiest countries in the world, one of the most expat-friendly countries in the world. So I'm curious, what do people, especially internationals, like about this country? Let's find out. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course, always is a pleasure, my friend.
First question is, what is your name?
My name is Rigel.
Rigel. And where are you from?
I come from La Habana, Cuba.
Cuba. And how many years have you been living in this country?
It has been 4 years
In the Netherlands.
in the Netherlands kingdom.
And what brought you to this country?
In the beginning, I come in just for really for accident, because my idea was coming to Netherlands after move to America. But in the moment I come here to this beautiful country, I start to see everything, I start to enjoy everything, and now I feel part of the community.
Okay, well, that's great to hear. A beautiful country. So the question is, what do you like about this country?
I love everything. I love everything. Even the way that many people don't like it, I love it. Especially how the people are, how kind the people are, how the people treat to each other. It's a beautiful country. It's amazing culture.
So you've been treated well. You even like the weather.
I love it.
Okay, because probably in Cuba, really hot.
It's a whole year. It's the weather didn't change so much in Cuba. You know what I mean? Because it's the whole year just hot. So here do you have the full extension of the year, so you can enjoy everything. You can enjoy the winter, you can enjoy the summer, you can enjoy everything.
Okay. And you mentioned the weather, the people. I think earlier you told me you also liked how direct people are too.
Yes, in the beginning was a little bit difficult because they always are really straight. In the moment they're gonna ask questions, they're gonna say something in the way they want to do something. But in the moment I start to crash with the culture, I start to getting in the culture. I think so. It's a good thing to do.
Okay, because Cuban culture, it's not very direct, right?
No, it's not. It's not.
But you learn to adapt, and you like this directness, the Dutch directness.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing.
Sharing is caring, my brother.
Well, thanks for joining me today. First question is, where are you from?
That's a complicated answer to give you, to be honest. So it depends what you want to know. So my nationality is Dutch. Ethnically, I'm Somali, but I grew up in Egypt most of my life.
So very multicultural.
Yes, indeed.
And now we're in the Netherlands. So the question is, what do you like about this country?
What I really like is the bike culture, but also their punctuality. So if you have a meeting at 3, it starts at 3. So there's never second guessing when it starts.
Everything happens on time for the most part.
I would say 90% of the time, yes.
Okay. And you also mentioned the bike culture, of course.
Yeah.
That's something you really enjoy.
Yeah, so I can just go to the city center biking in 10 minutes or so. So I don't really have to depend on a car or public transport, which is also really good. So that's also something I really like.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
No problem.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
First question is, where are you from?
I'm from Portugal. I'm 46 years old, and I've been living in the Netherlands for almost 20 years.
20 years. And what brought you to this country?
Actually, it was a love story that brought me here. And it was expected to last for about 3 months, 3 to 4 months. But when I started living here, I enjoyed it so much that we both decided to stay. And we still both, although we're not together anymore, we still both live in the Netherlands.
Okay, so 20 years here, assuming you must like it to be here 20 years. So the question today is, what do you like the most about this country?
I like the sense of security that I get in the Netherlands. And security, not just the sense of not being robbed or anything, but the sense of security in jobs, security in the pension plans, the sense of safety, like you have a future and you can live, a comfortable life in here.
You can live a comfortable life here. It's safe as well. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that. Anything else that comes to mind? What do you like about this country?
Well, not so much about the country, but more about the city, is that Amsterdam is a very international city. And I feel part of this expat community, so it makes me feel almost at home. So even though I'm not a local, I just feel part of the place.
So, a very international vibe in cities like Amsterdam.
Exactly.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing. Well, thank you so much for joining. First question, where are you from?
Well, thanks for the invite. I'm from Turkey.
Turkey. Where in Turkey?
Izmir, do you know about
Izmir.
that city?
Now I know about Izmir. And how long have you been living in the Netherlands?
It's been 3 years now.
3 years. What brought you to this country?
I came here for my master's initially, and that was 1 year degree, and then I just stayed on jobs, and it's been 3 years.
So now it's been 3 years. And I'm curious to hear, what do you like about this country?
What do I like? I can say the first thing is the biking culture in the Netherlands. I love biking, and coming from a very very big city, I was so down with public transportation, spending hours on traveling, like commuting, and I love cycling here. And if it's a good weather, it's amazing.
Okay, so the cycling culture, you can cycle anywhere. And if the weather is good, then it's a beautiful country to be in.
Well, also what I like about the Netherlands is the feeling of like freedom. People are open, people are very direct in the Dutch culture, so it's just like very easy. You don't really speak between the lines, but people just tell you what they think about something or think about you, so they just like cut the sweet part and then just get to the point.
So that's actually something that you like about this culture, the Dutch directness,
Yeah.
whereas many people would say that's a shock, but for you, you like it.
Yes, I mean, because many people perceive directness as being mean, which is not true. I think it's just being straightforward. So you don't, really lose time, on like sweet part of just saying the truth you want to say, and then just straight to the point. You just talk with people.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, David.
First question is, where are you from?
I'm from India.
India. And how long have you been in this country?
Today I completed my exactly 5 years.
5 years. Congrats on 5 years. What brought you to this country?
So I would say it's a bit complex to explain, but in simplistic terms, so I was doing my MBA in India, and then from my university I got a chance to study MSc here on a scholarship. And before coming here, I did a study about this country, like about the culture and how developed it is. So there is a lot of factors which go into consideration, and that's how I came here to explore further.
So you knew a bit about this country before, and you came here for your master's. And the question I have today is, what do you like about this country?
Yeah, if you ask me, the first thing comes to my mind is about freedom. So in this country, I think I'm able to freely speak about anything, and people are quite direct in nature. There are no filters around them, and also it is quite a systematic country. Like I don't have to think too much about like how things are getting done the way it is being done in my country. And also like it is like very beautiful from environmental perspective. The air is so clean and it has some scenic beauties.
It's a clean city, country, things work. You also talked about the Dutch directness. You like how direct Dutch people are.
Yeah, I do really like. But yeah, I think now I'm working where like being like diplomatic is also important. But definitely, like I think I always prefer like people have to be direct, and I think this is where we have some common grounds.
Got it. Tell me more about when you say freedom. You like the freedom that you have here.
Yeah, like for instance, like in my country, I think even like before you have to speak, like the kind of culture it is like even growing right now presently, it's you have to think twice, like what are you speaking. So definitely you have to think before speak, but like you can't really express sometimes your thoughts. On top of that, like the freedom is also about the safety, like here doesn't matter you're a man or woman, you can walk freely on the roads at nights, like it's quite a safe environment, and you feel like you have a freedom like to go anywhere
It's
without any
more
restrictions.
without restrictions. There's not as much hierarchy here as well as
Yeah, yeah,
compared to
indeed. Like very
India.
flat organization. So I do, like in my current company, I do have regular chats with like executive level members like CFO, CEO, and like which I couldn't be able to think like back there. Like
So you're able to speak to CEOs here and executives, whereas in India,
it's quite hard, I would say. Yeah, unless until means there are so many parameters like to cross. It's
yeah,
very hierarchical in nature. Yeah.
got it. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. First question is, where are you from?
Originally from Ukraine and born in Vinnytsia,
Okay.
best city.
And how long have you been living in the Netherlands?
Already for 9 months.
9 months. And what brought you to this country?
We were long time thinking about relocation, and we originally wanted to go to Australia, but during the COVID and all of that, we decided to find a place somewhere near Europe, and then we found out a lot about Netherlands.
Okay. And 9 months in this country. The question I'm curious about is, what do you like about this country?
Man, I'm a huge fan of Netherlands. Like, I'm really like everything. For example, okay, I have one more that we were not discussed, and like Ukraine, I would say it's very digital country. So, for example, I have application in my phone where I have my passport, my driving license, my like all documents that I need or apply or pay taxes. I can do it through the phone, and especially all other services we have on very good level. So, and all people now are saying, or like about Europe, that it takes like a huge amount of time to get some, I don't know, some document or apply for something. And especially now when like a lot of Ukrainians were forced to go to Europe, they're facing this and they wanted to go back. But what I like in Netherlands, it's so good, it's so strict, you know, like it's very fast forward. You don't have to. So it's the same on the same digital level as it used to be in Ukraine, for example. And I like people here. I'm a huge fan of people. They're smiling. Especially, I remember my first impression when I first time came to Netherlands while moving, and like there were people smiling at me at you, like at airport. They were welcoming me, and I was like, why is they so happy? What's wrong with them? And so, and then it continues. Like I came in winter when like the weather is not the best, and then spring and summer, and people always very happy, and especially if it's sunny day. Before I haven't noticed the sunny day at all, but now if it's sunny day, I will go out. I will stop doing all my stuff and go out and sit towards the sun.
So it's now you notice when the sun comes
Yeah,
out.
exactly.
And also, the people here are smiling because back in Ukraine, is it strange for people to just smile at you?
Probably, I would say yes. Like, if it's not your acquaintance and you don't know a person and he would smile at you, I would look, what's wrong? So, but it depends. It depends on occasion, but probably for me, yes.
Okay, so you mentioned it's a very digital country, very efficient. People are smiling at you. Now you notice when the sun comes out. There's a lot of things that you do like about this country. What else?
Cycling culture as well. I'm a big fan of cars, and and I was afraid of cycling before. I afraid of bikes, and it's already 1 month since I'm cycling. Almost, I don't use public transport in Amsterdam anymore. I only cycled and I use only trains. So, but it's so efficient. It's so comfortable, and if I like what I need to do is just to beat my fear, and after that, I'm really pretty happy to cycle in Amsterdam.
Yeah, it's a cycling culture. And there's a lot to like about this country. What else comes to mind?
That it's very international. I have a friend even she's from Egypt, and we have very different cultures, but at the same time we have so much in common. So for me, before it was, I cannot imagine something like that in Ukraine, to have friends with so different interests or something like that. So this, for me, says a lot.
It's a very international city, country. You can meet people from around the world. And that's what
Yeah.
you do like about this country.
Yeah, exactly. And like my most favorite, the level of English. Like everyone knows English, and on such a good level. I remember we have a handyman coming to our apartment, like, and he knows English even better than me. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. How did you, like, I was learning English at school for 12 years, since my first grade, and still I struggling with something. And that person, he is like, he's not working for international company like me or something like that, but still he has such a good level of English. So it makes much easier to get into the country, to get along with the people, to communicate on different level. If it's about documents, humanitarian, or anything, like it's very nice thing about Netherlands.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your insights.
You're welcome.
The bike culture, freedom, safety, work culture, the fact that things work in this country, Dutch directness, many things that I also agree with. What about you? What do you like about the Netherlands? Leave them in the comments below and take care.